Hello, and welcome to this week's Coronation Street Spoilers. Week commencing the 6th of November 2023. Carla arrives home from a fruitless business trip to Spain, still frosty with Peter. Sarah feels guilty, knowing that it's Stephen who ruined their reputation. When Carla discovers that Sarah has given Michael his job back, Sarah sticks to her guns and points out that this is not Michael's fault. Michael reveals he's working on some new designs, but Carla is dismissive. However, when a potential new client comes in for a meeting, a desperate Carla orders Michael to fetch his portfolio. Will they seal the deal? Later, when Ken confides in Carla that he's worried Peter may be drinking again, they look round the flat. Having discovered a bottle of whiskey she bought missing, Carla's concerned. Meanwhile, when George remarks that the boarded-up pub is an eyesore, Dylan has an idea. Dylan, Mason, Layla and Conch break into the Rovers and plan their party. Mason bets Conch £20 that Dylan will cop off with Layla. Dylan's embarrassed. After a few drinks, they turn on the jukebox. As Dylan and Layla kiss, she suggests they go upstairs. Sean and George hear music coming from the pub. Elsewhere, as Daniel witters about their house move, Daisy does her best to appear enthusiastic. Jenny urges her to think carefully about what it is she wants before she signs anything. Ryan's chuffed as he listens to a message from Crystal telling him she's watched his live stream and owes him an apology. When Crystal suggests they go for a drink, will Ryan agree? Also today, Izzy advises Paul to be brutally honest about his disability on his personal independence payment assessment or he'll lose out. Finally, Stu tells Roy that at Yasmin's request, he's called off all his investigations into Dom. However, when he receives a text from Leslie, the PI, will he comply? With Stephen's money seemingly vanished, Sarah and Carla realize they've no way of paying the staff, unless they can get the new client order out tomorrow and agree cash on delivery. But if they fail, they're finished. Carla lies to the workers and assures them that the bank has traced the stolen money and they'll all be paid by the end of the day, but she needs them to crack on with the order. When her lie is uncovered, they all down tools. This leaves Carla and Sarah begging them to reconsider, pointing out that if the order doesn't go out, the factory will go under. Will the staff reconsider? Meanwhile, when Paul confirms he's applied for the PIP, but it will take 11 weeks, Bernie's horrified, wondering how he'll cope till then. Bernie meets with Big Garth and asks him to flog the rest of the gear at a knockdown price as she desperately needs money. In the precinct, Big Garth hands Bernie a wad of cash, but unbeknown to them a police officer takes photos. As Bernie heads home, she's arrested on suspicion of handling stolen goods. Elsewhere, when Dylan refuses to give Mason £20 for the bet, he picks up Dylan's papers and dumps them in a puddle. Claiming he doesn't feel well, Dylan convinces Sean to let him take the day off school. But when Brian calls to say that after complaints of soggy newspapers, Dylan's fired, Sean's fuming. Also today, when Ryan reveals that he's seeing Crystal again later, Carla warns him she's nothing but trouble. Peter, however, tells him he's pleased as it might stop him from interfering in Daisy and Daniel's relationship. Finally, when Joseph complains of a headache, Chesney's disbelieving, but Gemma agrees to keep him off school. Worried it could be a sign of something more serious, Gemma takes him to A&E. When Billy is summoned to a meeting with the bishop, Bernie tells Deb that she's accompanying Paul to his speech therapy session and the police will have to wait. Paul confides in David how he tried to seduce Billy, but he made out he was too tired. David urges him to talk to Billy. Paul tells the speech therapist about his recent coughing fits. Bernie clocks her concern as she insists they see the MND nurse. The bishop tells Billy that he's prepared to lift his suspension and it's time he returned to work. Billy's delighted, but his mood is short-lived when Bernie calls from the hospital. The MND nurse breaks the news to Paul that he only has 6 to 12 months left to live. Also today, Peter assures Carla that he's happy to attend his alcoholics meeting alone as she's needed at the factory. Feeling guilty, Carla rushes home, telling Peter there are more important things than work and she's coming to his meeting. Peter's touched. Finally, as Summer helps Amy at the drop-in she's organized for the counseling charity, a girl calls in and Summer hands her a flyer. While they're distracted, the girl leaves. Amy's cross with herself, wishing she'd offered her some help and Summer worries for her friend. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss next week's Coronation Street Spoilers.